We often imagine spiritual growth as a constant climb upward, more love, more light, higher vibration. But nature and the soul doesn't move in one constant direction. It moves in cycles, like the inhale, the exhale, the tides, day and night. Real soul evolution isn't simply about ascending, it is about balancing. And most of the time, the balance comes from that exact thing that we have been resisting, that we dislike, and that we fear. Equilibrium is not a still pond, it's more like a tight rope. Too much of one quality, even a so-called good quality, throws us off. Too much light burns, too much shadow drowns. The soul seeks a tempering force. Think of alchemy, where two opposite elements merge together to create gold. You cannot get transformation from sameness. You need friction. You need opposition. It works the same way within our psyches. If you live entirely in your head, life will throw you emotional challenges. If you're too impulsive, too fiery, life will send you people and situations that force patience. The universe is always trying to round the edges that we cling to. The human ego does not like this. We prefer our comfort zones, situations that feel familiar, safe, comfortable. So when life hands us the opposite, we see it as a threat, not recognizing the medicine. This is why the qualities that we dislike or think that we hate within other people is the mirror and the medicine that we need. We may avoid discipline, but deeply crave freedom without realizing that discipline is what deepens your freedom. We might avoid vulnerability, but crave intimacy, yet vulnerability is the gateway to it. Avoidance is our soul's greatest thief. It attempts to convince us that the thing that we resist will destroy us, when in actuality, it is that we are avoiding these things and not facing them, in which we will allow them to destroy or control us this way. They may even seem as if they are opposite to who we are. Yet when we stop fighting or resisting them, we then allow ourselves to submit to their rhythm. Something here then changes. Now, this isn't submission in the sense of defeat or weakness. It's submission as a conscious choice, submission of the ego, a yielding to what tempers us. Think of metal in a forge. The fire is wild and shaping, but the water cools and strengthens. Too much fire, the metal warps. Too much water, it never forms. To submit to your balancing force is to willingly step into the exact conditions that will make you whole. When you finally allow yourself to do this, it's not just internal growth that takes place, but you will also experience deep pleasure. This is the pleasure that comes from the release of resistance. The body is now saying, I can finally rest in my fullness. When we allow ourselves to be held in the polarity of what we resist, whether that's structure when we crave freedom or intimacy when we crave independence, we then discover a pleasure that is far deeper than indulgence. It is a pleasure of being met exactly where we are internally imbalanced, of then being shaped into something stronger. This is a pleasure beyond the senses, but a pleasure of the soul, the bliss of becoming aligned with the universal law of balance itself. In astrology, there's actually a built-in map that displays this process for each individual. The opposition sign, the opposite house of your first house being the seventh. They sit across from each other on the wheel, reflecting missing pieces back to us. So this is your seventh house, the house of other relationships and qualities you would most likely think belong to somebody who is very opposite of you in most ways. This house displays the traits that balance, temper, and complete your soul's growth. And you will notice that many of the times, the people that you attract into your life have these qualities. Whether you love them, dislike them, or feel triggered by them, they are mirrors, your balancing force. And actually, a lot of the times, an individual in which we will have very strong polarity with, a lot of sexual chemistry with, is usually somebody who's not very like us at all. It's a person that most likely will threaten our egos, and our rational mind will think that we dislike this person because of that threat to the ego, but in reality, this is a sign of the alchemical opposite. So how do we start to integrate these qualities within ourselves? Of course, you can go and take a peek at your astrological sign and observe the seventh house, what planets sit there, what is your planetary ruler in that house, and begin trying to understand what energies are residing in this house. Begin noticing our triggers. Who keeps showing up in your life clicking those same buttons? Instead of saying, why do they act like this? Question yourself, what part of me are they waking up? Why is it that this individual even causes a reaction out of me to begin with? Begin to redefine traits. There's a difference between destructive boldness and then courageous self-expression. There's a difference between laziness and rest, between selfishness and self-respect. Begin to experiment with this in small ways. If you believe that you lack assertiveness, begin speaking up once a day. If you're lacking the ability to be receptive, accept help without guilt. This way you can treat these experiments like alchemical ingredients. You're adjusting the balance of your inner recipe. So the next time you feel triggered, opposed, challenged, ask yourself, is this person or situation actually threatening me, or are they attempting to balance me? Because the truth is, the force that we resist the most is the exact force that our soul came here to integrate and experience. And when we stop resisting, we don't only find internal balance and equilibrium, but the gold we have been searching for all along. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider interacting with the video in some way. If you'd like to hear more from me, my link will be below. And as always, I'm wishing you a beautiful day, evening, or night, wherever you are on this floating rock.